Now let's talk about the biggest losers in this election. The exit polls. They predicted a landslide for the incumbent. They said Modi will come back stronger than ever and the BJP alliance would win anywhere between 350 to 400 seats, which is clearly not turning out to be the case. The pollsters were way off the mark and not for the first time. Their record has been patchy. They've got many elections wrong. But how do they end up so far from the ground reality? And are such upsets limited to India? Our next report tells you.
The last phase of India's 7th-session parliamentary election ended on Saturday, and immediately after voting ended, the predictions had begun. India has a rule: no exit polls until the entire election ends. So, pollsters had been waiting for weeks, eager to share their findings. So after polling ended on Saturday, out came the exit polls. This table shows a summary of the polls. Compare that to the results you've been seeing all day. You'll instantly see a gap. None of these polls got it right. They all say that the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance would sweep the election, that the NDA would get between 350 and 400 seats. Looking at the results right now, it seems the polls were all off by about 100 seats. In India's 543-seat parliament, that's a big margin of error. So it raises questions about the credibility of these polls. Or rather, it lends credibility to jibes from the opposition, like this.
एग्जिट पोल में अभी उन्होंने किसी ने 350 दिया है, किसी ने 400 दिया है. मैं तो हैरान हूं कि सिर्फ 400 क्यों दिया? 700 सीट दे सकते थे बीजेपी को.
The Indian opposition parties have been undermining the exit polls or hinting at potential sabotage. Like with this tweet from the Congress, where they said that the BJP were laying a trap, that they were using exit polls to sabotage the verdict. Clearly, that was not the case. So perhaps there's no hidden agenda behind the exit polls. Maybe people just didn't want to reveal who they voted for. Because how does an exit poll work? It's not as though the pollsters talk to every single voter. They just take a small sample. They ask a few people who they voted for and extrapolate the data to give a bigger picture. So if your sample gives you false information, your result will be skewed. This does happen from time to time. In 2021, exit polls got it wrong in West Bengal. The state had held elections. Most exit polls predicted that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee would lose to the BJP. That didn't happen. It was similar in the case of Bihar in 2020. Back then, no one had expected the BJP-JDU alliance to win. But win they did. Mistakes have happened at the national level as well. Back in 2004, no one expected Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee to lose. But his coalition, the NDA, was defeated by the Congress-led UPA, proving the polls wrong. And this isn't just an Indian phenomenon. In the year 2000, we had an infamous case from the US. Exit polls predicted that Al Gore won the state of Florida, but Florida had voted for Bush, and that changed the outcome of the US presidential race. Throughout history, across the world, pollsters have got it wrong, and they face a lot of flack for it every time. But instead of taking exit polls as gospel truth, maybe we should consider them as guidelines instead. That would probably prevent quite a few shocks.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.